crisp, juicy, fresh. And then, out of nowhere, a sharp, unpleasant bitterness. Sound familiar? It feels like your entire cucumber harvest is ruined, and your summer spirits right along with it. But don't be so quick to toss out those seemingly spoiled green gems. What if I told you that you can save almost any bitter cucumber? And no, you won't need magic or complicated chemical tricks. In this video, we'll explore simple yet effective ways to remove bitterness from cucumbers and turn what seems like a culinary flop into a delicious victory. Stick around and you'll discover a secret that just might surprise you. So, let's start from the beginning. Why do cucumbers even get bitter? The culprit is a special compound called cucurbitacin. This is actually the plant's natural defense mechanism. When a cucumber experiences stress, it starts actively producing this bitter component to deter pests. What kind of stress can a cucumber go through? All sorts. Think sudden temperature swings, inconsistent watering, either too little or water that's too cold, or even too much scorching sun. Essentially, a bitter cucumber is a cucumber that's had a rough time. But here's the good news. We can actually fix the effects of that stress. So let's kick things off with the most famous, dare I say, folk method. Chances are your grandma or mom showed you this trick. We're talking about the famous technique involving the cucumber's tail, or blossom end. It feels like some kind of garden magic passed down through generations. But does it actually work? Or is it just an old wives' tale? Let's find out. The process itself is ridiculously simple. First, thoroughly wash the cucumber. Then, cut off the very end, specifically the blossom end where the flower used to be. This part is usually the bitterest. Now take the cut-off piece and vigorously rub it in circular motions against the cut surface of the cucumber. You'll almost immediately see a thick white foam appear on the cut surface. Looks like soap, doesn't it? It's believed that this foam is the very bitterness we're drawing out of the cucumber. Rub for about 20 to 30 seconds. Rinse the foam off with water. Trim off the rubbed edge. And that's it. You're ready to taste. The theory behind this method states that the highest concentration of cucurbitacin is found near the stem and blossom ends of the cucumber. And when we rub the cut surface, the plant's sap reacts, bringing the bitter substance to the surface along with this foam. Sounds logical, doesn't it? Millions of gardeners worldwide swear by this method. Now let's look at this from a scientific perspective. And this is where it gets interesting. Most agronomists and biologists are, to put it mildly, quite skeptical of this method. They assert that cucurbitacin is distributed throughout the cucumber's vascular system, not just confined to one end. So what exactly is that white foam then? Scientists say it's simply oxidized cellular sap mixed with saponins, substances found in many plants that can create foam, meaning the foam would appear even if the cucumber wasn't bitter at all. So what we're seeing isn't extracted bitterness, but rather a normal chemical reaction. So does this method not work after all? Let's not be too quick to dismiss it. Perhaps it does genuinely help reduce the bitterness at the very tip of the cucumber, where it's most concentrated. Or maybe it acts as a placebo effect. We believe in this ritual so much that we perceive the cucumber as tastier. There's certainly no harm in trying this method, and it only takes half a minute, so if it works for you, great. But what if the bitterness has permeated the entire cucumber, not just its tip? For that, we'll need a more serious method, one that offers a 100% guarantee, and that's coming up next. Let's talk about the science in your kitchen. This method doesn't rely on luck or old wives' tales. It uses basic laws of physics. I'm talking about a simple soak in cold, lightly salted water. It's a tried and true method that guarantees to get rid of bitterness. How does it work? It all comes down to a physical phenomenon called osmosis. If you remember your high school science, nature always strives for balance. Inside the cucumber cells, there's water with dissolved, bitter cucurbitacin. When we submerge the cucumber in salt water, we create an environment outside the cucumber with a higher salt concentration. The system tries to equalize this imbalance. As a result, Water from inside the cucumber, along with the dissolved bitterness, starts to move out into the more saline solution. In simpler terms, the salt essentially pulls the bitter juices out of the cucumber's flesh. It's a slow but highly effective process. Now, let's put this into practice. First, you need to prepare the cucumbers to speed up the process. It's best to peel them, as most of the bitterness accumulates in the skin and just beneath it. Then, slice the cucumbers the way you plan to use them in your dish, into rounds, sticks, or simply cut them lengthwise into several pieces. The greater the surface area in contact with the water, the faster the bitterness will dissipate. Now let's prepare the solution itself. No complicated proportions are needed. For 1 litre of cold, clean water, add 1 to 2 teaspoons of regular table salt. Stir well until the salt is completely dissolved. Submerge the sliced cucumbers in this water and leave them for at least 30–40 minutes. If the cucumbers are very bitter, you can soak them for an hour or even 2. After soaking, be sure to rinse the cucumbers thoroughly under running water to wash off any excess salt. And here's a little heads up. After this process, the cucumbers might become slightly less crispy as they lose some of their moisture. But it's a small price to pay for completely eliminating that unpleasant bitterness. They'll be the perfect base for your salad. This method is almost perfect, but it does have one drawback. It takes time. What if guests are already at your doorstep and you need to prepare the salad right now? Don't worry, we have an express method for that. And what if you simply don't have time for a long soak? Heat treatment comes to the rescue. Yes, you heard that right. Bitterness can simply be boiled, fried, or baked away. This method works quickly and effectively because cucurbitacin, the substance responsible for bitterness, is unstable and breaks down under high temperatures. Of course, this method isn't for you if you're craving a fresh, crisp cucumber, but it opens up a whole world of new dishes you might never have considered. Fried or braised cucumbers are far from a joke. They're very popular in many Asian cuisines. They develop a tender texture and an interesting, slightly sweet flavour that pairs wonderfully with meat, garlic, and soy sauce. How do you do it? It's incredibly simple. Peel the cucumbers, remove the seeds if they're large, and slice them into sticks or half moons. Next, heat a little vegetable or sesame oil in a pan, add the cucumbers, minced garlic, a splash of soy sauce, and stir-fry on high heat for just 3 to 4 minutes. The cucumbers should become tender, but still retain a slight firmness. As they cook, all the bitterness will completely vanish. Another option is to add bitter cucumbers to soup. For instance, in Russian pickle soup, rasolnik, or solyanka, you can grate them and add them to your sautéed vegetables along with onions and carrots. In the hot broth, the bitterness will disappear without a trace, and the soup will gain a pleasant, fresh note. Bitter cucumbers are also excellent for pickling and canning, processes that involve sterilisation. In hot brine and at high temperatures, cucurbitacin breaks down. So feel free to use them for making dishes like lecho or winter salads, where cucumbers undergo heat treatment. The only exception is traditional cold pickling. The bitterness might remain in that case. So, if your harvest turns out bitter, don't despair. It's a fantastic opportunity to experiment in the kitchen and try something new. Fried cucumbers just might become your new favourite side dish. But what if you want to keep your cucumbers fresh and don't want to soak them or cook them? Is there a way to simply make the bitterness imperceptible? Absolutely, and that's our next method. And finally, the fourth method for those who are truly resourceful is masking. If you can't completely get rid of the bitterness or simply don't have the time, you can play it smarter. Just add ingredients that will overpower the unpleasant taste and balance it out. The principle here is simple. Use ingredients with strong, intense flavours that will distract your taste buds from the bitterness. It's like in music. A loud drum beat will drown out a quiet squeak. So, what can serve as our drums in the kitchen? First, and most obvious, is acid. Lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, or wine vinegar are excellent for neutralising bitterness. Try making a simple salad dressing. Combine olive oil, a little lemon juice, a pinch of sugar, and salt. Sugar also plays a vital role here. Its sweetness beautifully balances bitterness. While this dressing won't eliminate cucurbitacin, it will make its taste practically unnoticeable. Second, consider dairy and fermented dairy products. Sour cream, natural yogurt, or even kefir have a rich, creamy texture and mild taste that excellently mellows sharp bitterness. A classic summer salad of cucumbers with sour cream and dill is a perfect example of this masking technique. The fat content in sour cream seems to bind the bitter compounds, preventing them from being too prominent. The third helper is pungency and spices. Garlic, hot peppers, mustard, fresh herbs like cilantro or parsley, all of them have powerful distinct flavours and aromas. Add a couple of garlic cloves and a finely chopped bunch of herbs to a bitter cucumber salad, and the bitterness will recede to the background, if not disappear entirely. This method is ideal for preparing quick salads, appetizers, or cold soups like okroshka or tarator. Simply taste your bitter cucumber and consider which of these vibrant flavours, sour, sweet, pungent or creamy, would best complement your dish. Sometimes the simplest dressing can turn a culinary mishap into an interesting and exciting experiment. But here's the most unexpected, and perhaps the most crucial twist in this whole story. Cucurbitacin, the very compound we try so hard to eliminate due to its bitter taste, is being extensively researched by scientists worldwide. And do you know why? Because of its potential anti-cancer properties. Research indicates that cucurbitacin can inhibit the growth and proliferation of cancer cells. Just imagine what we once considered a flaw or a defect could actually be a valuable asset. Of course, this doesn't mean you should start eating bitter cucumbers by the pound as a medicine. But the very fact forces us to look at this issue from a completely new perspective. That unpleasant bitterness isn't poison. It's merely a signal that the cucumber contains a higher concentration of this remarkable compound. So to recap, a bitter cucumber isn't the end of your harvest. You can remove the bitterness mechanically through soaking, by cooking, or simply mask it in a salad or marinade. So now you know how easily you can rescue your cucumbers. Thank you for watching this video until the end. If you found it helpful, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our future interesting episodes. Now, a question for all of you. Do you have any special tricks for dealing with bitter cucumbers? Perhaps a family recipe or an unusual life hack you swear by? Please share your experience in the comments below. Let's build a comprehensive collection of tips together.